If the Lions go 12-4, I'm sending this tape in to ESPN.
One for the champs, baby. We don't win in the specific years that I want us to win. Let's go! I was big on them in Source Chandler. Because he's not the better player. Watch them play football.
Oh my God! You watched the highlights? Did you watch Johnny Manziel's highlights when he? Whoa, guys! Look at me! I'm gonna go throw the ball.
If Stidham outperforms Newton, Stidham's gonna start. That's all you have. How are you gonna win the division with that? How's it going, everybody? And welcome back to our weekly NBA playoffs episode, where today we're going to be doing what we do every week. We're going to recap the past week of basketball and give our predictions for the week ahead as we inch closer to entering actual playoff series in the bubble. My name is Nick Antonakis, and I'm lucky to be joined by Stuart Brooks and Chandler Betts. We got the basketball crew here. How's it going, guys?
Good. Oh, well, Nick.
And before we start this episode, I just want to say a big announcement that we learned yesterday. The Nosebleeds podcast has been added to Apple Podcasts and on iTunes. So make sure, go check it out. Subscribe to the Nosebleeds podcast on Apple Podcasts. And for any of our podcast listeners out there, welcome to the Nosebleeds podcast. This is a huge thing that we got set up for us by ACMi, so a huge thank you to them. And so now we have some more platforms for you to listen to us. Make sure go check it out and subscribe and leave a rating there. And on that note, I say we dive into some basketball. I say maybe we go by the same format that we did last week and go team by team. So you guys ready to dive into it?
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go East first.
Let's go East first because I would say the West is more intriguing. We'll save that till the end.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna start.
We'll start at the bottom of the East with the Wizards. Wizards, since we last met, the Wizards have lost all of their games. They lost against the Sixers. They lost against the Pelicans versus the Thunder and versus the resting Bucks. So
they got blown out.
They're trash.
Yep. They're awful.
Yeah.
Nick, you predicted them to win twice, right? Or was it just once?
Once.
No, it was definitely twice.
It was not twice. I questioned myself the second time because I almost had them beating the Bucks because the Bucks are going to be resting.
But look what happened. Yeah, they're just awful, and everybody knew this was going to happen.
Yeah,
I mean, people who bet, under 1.5 now are happy, unless they – or I guess they're leaving the bubble now, too. They're one of the teams that's going to have to leave. So people who bet under 1.5 wins are making a nice payday right now.
Go.
They just suck. There's really not much else to say, I mean, looking forward to the future. I don't know if Bradley Beal's going to get traded. Maybe not. John Wall's going to be coming back. But, as of now, this is just irrelevant, and they didn't need to even be there.
I have a question for probably for Stuart because he'd be the one who would know this. So the Wizards have officially dropped below the Hornets in the standings, and the Bulls. Now
right? And the Bulls.
So are they going to get better? So are they going to get better lottery odds than the teams that didn't have the opportunity to lose?
I don't actually know. I would think no, but I don't know. Because they didn't have.
How could you say that they dropped below the other teams when the other teams didn't have a chance to play? Like that's what happens with the draft. It gets all screwed up. Same with the NHL. Like the Rangers got the first overall pick, and they were technically in the bubble, like in the playoff bubble. So
stupidest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was glad the Rangers got it over the Penguins, but anyway, this isn't hockey.
But. Yeah, I mean, as Nick was saying, like, they didn't have a chance. Those teams probably also would have lost all their games if we're being completely honest. So I don't think so. And also, they're not supposed to be counting, there's the news that they're not going to be counting the bubble games towards MVP or any of the All-NBA teams or awards. So I don't know why they do the same for teams in the draft. But, I mean, I don't know. It's not going to make a huge difference when it comes to the odds, even if they were down a couple spots. But,
it'll just be that they would theoretically get, 2 picks higher.
Mm-hmm. They could, but no, I don't think so. I mean, we'll see. Come draft time.
All right. I think we've talked enough about the trash Wizards. maybe it's time to move on to the 8th seed in the East, the Orlando Magic, who have also lost all of their games since we last met, losing to the Raptors, the Sixers, the Celtics, and the Nets. So,
yeah. But that Isaac
again,
just kind
pretty
of fell
bad.
apart on defense. Is just nothing. And Aaron Gordon's been out of the lineup. You know, it's just like they're also kind of out. They're only really good when they have everyone healthy. Once they start losing their players, they just fall into like this, you know, really below average team. And it's also kind of awkwardly built. You know, I think they're just, you know, they clinched the 8 seed because they lost to the Nets. So they're going to be playing Milwaukee. And there's like almost no way that the series is not a sweep.
Yeah.
To me.
Oh, yeah. It has to be. I don't even think they're going to really play Giannis that much for that series. They're that confident
minutes a
game. They're going to kill him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they've been really searching for a point guard ever since Jameer Nelson left. And, I mean, you can argue that they might have that with Markelle Fultz, but he's not really showing anything this time.
He's a backup point guard in the league, but he's not he just doesn't have like a crazy high production, and his shot's still kind of weird looking.
He's not the type of player that you trade Jason Tatum and a future first for. Thank you, Brian Colangelo, very much.
Yeah, then they traded him to Orlando for like a low first.
Yeah,
that Orlando owned, and James Ennis III.
Let's go.
Or it was Jonathan Simmons. I'm not sure, but yeah, obviously didn't get a great haul for him. So yeah, the Magic, they suck.
They're bad. Not really worth our time.
Yeah,
like
but I mean, another team that we kind of thought was going to be very, very bad, but kind of overperformed our expectations have been the New York Nets or the Brooklyn Nets. What the hell am I saying?
Brooklyn Nets. It's okay, Nick.
Since we last met, they lost versus the Celtics, but then they went out and won 3 straight against the Kings, the Clippers, and the Magic. So I was right about that Magic's game. So let's go.
Magic, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the win against the Clippers was definitely the most impressive because Kawhi was playing. He scored 39 points, and they still won. They definitely been playing a lot better than I thought. You know, I mean, I still think they're going to get their butt kicked by Toronto in the first round, but I definitely thought that Orlando was going to grab the 7th seed, but then, you know, the injuries and the losses just kind of piled up. So, you know, again, not like the most interesting team, but they definitely performed better than these other 2 teams here.
Yeah, I think this is going to be proved to be really important for the Nets. This streak of wins. We have I believe it's the interim coach for the Nets. Jacques Vaughn. I think I'm.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Has been vastly overperforming with a team of I think it's 8 players not playing, and I think those are all. I mean, you can argue that those are 8 of the top 10 players. And that is, they're still, like I said, vastly overperforming with essentially Karis LeVert and a bunch of G Leaguers.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very impressive. I don't think that's going to earn them any brownie points winning a game against the Raptors because I don't think they will. But I think that Vaughn deserves a lot of credit for what's been happening in the bubble, especially with the Clippers win, being able to. You obviously didn't stop Kawhi, but you stopped everyone else around Kawhi. That's what they needed to do. That's what they did.
Yeah, it's been impressive to say the least. I mean, a team that we thought was going to be really, really bad. Like, I even thought that they were going to lose to the Wizards at one point. That's how very not confident I was in this team. But you know, they've definitely overperformed expectations, like Chandler said, and you know, it's been fun to watch, especially that Clippers game, like you said. So, on that note, I think we should move into a little bit more of the contender aspect of the East. Kind of know that those bottom teams are definitely going to be first-round exits, but there's a small chance that these teams, as we move up the list, can get some wins in the playoffs. So we have the 76ers. Since the last time we met, they beat the Wizards, they beat the Magic, they lost to the Blazers, and then they beat the Suns. Oh, no. They lost to the Suns. Yeah. What am I saying? Lost to the Suns. Well,
you know, they have also there's the injury. Ben Simmons is injured.
Yeah, Ben Simmons
It's been a really bad week for them. This has been a really bad week for them.
Yeah. I mean, you know, the thing with the Sixers is the bubble was like the perfect thing for them because they had a chance to reset and, you know, try to figure out this kind of awkward roster to work. And basically they're just running the exact same thing they were before the bubble. playing lower than they should be, losing to teams that aren't that good. And then, it's just an awkward fit. And, Simmons wasn't actually playing like super amazing or anything. But he's still a really important part of their defense. And now that he's out, it just seems like teams are just going to score all over them. And it's starting to I definitely, if they were going to play Boston in the 3-6 matchup and they were going to have Ben Simmons, that was concerning for me. But now they don't have him. I don't really view them as much of a threat to any team in the East at all. I think they're almost a guaranteed first round exit. Whether they do, somehow nudge up and get the 5th seed and play Miami or play us, I think that they're gonna lose without Simmons.
Yeah, I was really intrigued going into the bubble for the 76ers when they announced they were going to be playing Ben Simmons at the power forward rather than the point guard. Mm-hmm. But, it didn't really prove to do anything. They were still, like Stuart said, underperforming against teams they should be beating. And then losing Ben Simmons is just going to be terrible because he is such a valuable facilitator and defender. While he doesn't bring anything into the shooting aspect of the game, a little bit, but not.
He's
in
an
terms
elite shooter.
Range. Yeah.
He's about as an elite shooter as Nick.
That's mean. That is mean.
2 feet from the basket, getting the air balls, Nick.
Well, we'll give a quick recap. We were playing basketball.
Insert clip of Nick missing.
Yeah. We'll give a quick recap of when we were playing basketball last week, and we were winning. It was me, Stuart, and Nick versus 2 of Stuart's brother and one of his friends, and we lost because we were trying to get Nick the last point. We lost twice in a row.
We lost.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yes,
we
lost
did.
both games.
We lost both times. We were up 14
no,
to 8
it wasn't.
to 15.
I didn't play that bad defense.
Nick, you were wide open.
I told you to stop passing to me, and then you kept passing to me.
You're wide open.
You're directly under the hoop.
And I said, "Don't pass to me." I legit threw the ball back to you one time. I was like, I refused to shoot.
Then why did you touch the basket if you didn't want to shoot it? You should have set some screens out there.
I'm not a basketball player.
Yeah,
I'm the Ben Simmons of our age.
Ben Simmons is good at defense and running and jumping, though.
The shooting ability is what we're at.
I wasn't that bad at defense.
Well, he was better than I thought.
I was playing pretty good defense sometimes.
He was better than I hoped, but he was still pretty bad.
Let's go.
Also, your offense was a net negative on our team.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was. It really was. It didn't really count as a player when it came to
canceled out my takeover. It canceled out my takeover.
Right. Chandler was going off, and he was like, "Oh, Nick's open. I'm gonna spread the wealth," and then Nick just misses like a 2 foot put in
really
twice.
Bad.
I'll redeem myself.
And he also
Colin said, "Colin was like, just leave him open."
For any of you who have gone to the Pierce basketball, Cody also got rejected by the little rim there a couple times.
Yeah, he missed the dunk.
It was really funny.
But it's okay,
bro.
Nick.
I've never dunked before. That's why.
Dude, I can. Okay,
you are almost taller than.
It doesn't matter. We're talking about the NBA.
Okay, we're talking about the NBA. Yeah,
we're talking about the NBA. This is an NBA podcast.
All right, 76ers. Awkward fit.
Yeah, Sixers.
First round exit.
Wait, how long is Ben Simmons going to be out for?
I don't think he's coming back.
I don't think he's coming back?
It's just, dude,
they're
it's
reevaluating his surgery in 2 weeks. But by that time, they'll probably be out of the playoffs anyways.
Yeah,
they're done.
They're done.
All right, Pacers. Last time we met, since that, they've lost to the Suns, they beat the Lakers, and they lost to the Heat. So, Pacers, they're not looking that bad, but they're not looking that great either. They started off the bubble good, getting 3 straight wins, but then losing to the Suns. They got that win against the Lakers, which was pretty big, but Lakers have just been shaky.
Yeah, Bubble Goat had a tough game against the Heat.
Yeah, only 12 points.
After chatting all that trash talk to Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler chatted all that trash talk towards him.
He was in his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, that game basically just tells me what a series between those two teams is going to look like. Even though they're close in the standing, I think Miami's just a lot better. Because, the Pacers don't even have Sabonis. How are they going to guard Bam at all? I mean, I'm sorry, but Miles Turner, he's not going to do much out there. Maybe other than offensively. So, I just think that, that just Miami is just better. And maybe if we play the Pacers, potentially, I also am that's a matchup I wouldn't mind. Basically, it's the same matchup as last season. I mean, TJ Warren's been good, but, 12 points the other day.
Yeah.
Finally starting to come back to earth a little bit. He didn't have a 16-point game performance earlier. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a fun team and a fun story, but I just don't think they can beat any of the teams that are higher: the Heat, the Celtics, the Raptors, or the Bucks.
I think it's really interesting how going into the bubble, we were all so worried about whether Victor Oladipo was going to play, and how in terms of star power, it kind of is a one-man team centered around Victor Oladipo. They don't play like that, but in terms of like actual build of the roster, he's the only like true even play. He's not a superstar, but you could argue that he's a star. And then it's so interesting how they've been focused essentially solely around T.J. Warren. Like they live and die by him in the bubble. I mean, the
offenses just ran through him.
Exactly. He drops 53 against the Sixers and they win. He drops 12 against the Heat and they lose pretty handily. I mean, given nobody picked up that slack, and that was the problem. I mean, the highest score was Victor Oladipo with 14.
Yeah.
It was just a really rough game all around, and I think that just goes to show how poor of a matchup the Heat are for the Pacers. I want to give them credit for even getting this far. They are kind of capitalizing on the woes of the 76ers, but they really capitalized on TJ Warren and how he's been playing like, I guess he's been playing like pre-All-Star Brandon Ingram in my eyes. Like in terms TJ Warren, like
how?
Yeah, in the way that like it's a play style thing. He's gonna get the ball, he's gonna score at all three levels, and when he doesn't do that, he looks really bad. And when he does that, he looks really good.
Okay, that makes sense. Or even like Jason Tatum a little bit earlier in this. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely missing. Sabonis isn't playing, so that's what they're missing, I think, the most. Because he was an all-star this season. He was really, really good for them. Even without Oladipo, he was the clear number one. And now that he's not there, defensively and definitely offensively, they're missing, that contribution. Both ends of the ball.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would say that. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a guarantee that the Pacers and the Sixers are getting out first round. I mean, more so the Sixers, but I would say that the Pacers have a little bit of a chance, but it's looking like they're going to lose first round to the next team that we're going to talk about, the Miami Heat, who since the last time we met, they lost to the Bucks, they lost to the Suns, and then they beat the Pacers. So,
the Pacer win was definitely needed after losing those couple of games because, they beat the Celtics earlier in the season in the bubble, but they kind of looked a little bit like not that great. Also, they lost to the Raptors. It's just that Bucks game. They were up big. It looked like, oh my God, what's wrong with the Bucks? Giannis is playing, but they're still getting their butt kicked. But then in the second half, the Heat just completely folded against Giannis and that Bucks offense, and then they ended up basically getting blown out. It was like a reverse for Miami. So after that, and then the Suns lost, there was definitely, they definitely needed to regroup, and they got a nice win against the Pacers the other day. I think they're going to be the 4 seed, and it's looking like they'll play Milwaukee probably in the second round, and that's going to be an interesting matchup to see.
Yeah, I think. Oh yeah, go ahead.
You go Nick.
All right, I think that obviously the Heat have been kind of like a streaky team. Like when they've looked good, they've looked really good. But then there's been times like obviously in those losses where they've looked like a very subpar team at times. So, it's just like kind of like the fact of like having to turn on that switch and keep it going consistently, because when they're good, they're doing really well. And if they can play like that, I feel like they can go pretty far in the playoffs, maybe even push the Bucks to their brink. Maybe push that series to like 7 games or something like that. But, unless that happens, they're not going to really be doing too much, especially when it comes to that Bucks series. I think they'll beat Pacers first round, especially after that win just now in the bubble. Like Stuart said, that was kind of a big morale win. So, we'll just have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, so the point I was just going to quickly make is how well the ball has been spread around for the Heat. In the last game against the Pacers, they had 7 scores in double digits. When they lost to the Suns, which we'll get to that game, I'm sure, they had 5 in double digits. And Duncan Robinson and Tyler Herro both with 25 points. which is ridiculous.
Yeah, Duncan Robinson has just looked really great in the bubble.
Yeah,
he's already an amazing catch and shoot guy, one of the best I've seen with like this natural motion, and especially he doesn't have to worry about like distractions on the court or anything without the fans there. He's just fucking gunning it every time. He's basically JJ Redick out there already.
And he is from Maine. Fun fact.
Oh wow, look at that. He's also already like 26 or 27 years old, so this is basically what he is.
Wow.
But that's not really. Yeah, he was drafted like last season or undrafted. And he was already like 25. But
oh wow, good for him.
But he's definitely going to be a solid shooter in the league for a while.
I think the JJ Redick comparison is really good. I like that. And I would like that if I were Duncan Robinson, I would really like that because JJ Redick's carved out a really long NBA career.
Yeah. Go Heat.
Go Heat. And Jimmy Butler's back, which is really important. And
that was a big piece.
They need for them to be great, they need to have all hands on deck. They can't afford any injuries at all because once like one of those players goes down, they just lose an aspect of their team. Yeah. Like if even the guy like if Andre Iguodala went down, they lose that defense off the bench. Or like if they lose Robinson, they lose their shooting. They need to have everyone healthy and ready to go for all of the games. Because if they don't show up, then these teams are going to take advantage. But I think that so far, each of the players on the Heat have had like good moments in the bubble. Robinson, Bam, and Jimmy. So, it's just a team that they can't risk to. They have to show up every single time they play because we've seen them lose a few times to worse teams when their best players didn't play that great. But at their best, they're a very good team. That I think they probably could beat Milwaukee if they were playing at their absolute hardest, maybe in 7, because they're built really well to stop Giannis, and they have good wing players. We'll obviously see what happens. I think it could go 7, it could go 5. I don't know.
I really hope we get that series because I'd be very.
Me too.
Watch the Pacers win after all that shit we were talking.
That'd be so bad.
Yep.
That'd honestly be really disappointing.
And knocks out Giannis.
Yeah, well, Nick, sometimes that's the way it goes.
Then it would be like Bucks in like 4 or 5. Just easy.
What if it could be Bucks in 4 or 5 in the Miami series, to be completely honest.
Honestly, it could.
We saw what happened the other time that they just played, but
the Bucks have been very streaky. I mean, we could get to the Bucks later, but
Yeah, we'll get to them in a sec.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we move to the number 3 seed, the Boston Celtics, who have actually erupted since the last time we talked, where we were actually kind of low on them. Very not confident in the Celtics, but since we last spoke, it was 4 wins in a row for the Celtics versus the Nets, the Raptors, the Magic, and the Grizzlies. So Celtics starting to come into form and really making a push here for that 3rd seed. They're solidifying themselves there at that 3rd seed.
Yeah. It couldn't have been a better week. They beat all the teams they played. They absolutely decimated the Raptors. The box score, I think, was like 20 points, but it was not even that close. Like during the course of the game, we were up
22 and it was 40 at one point.
Yeah, it was like 40 at one point. They were completely dominating the Raptors. I mean, the Raptors were playing poorly offensively. Like they seemed disengaged for whatever reason, but Boston just completely poured it on the entire game. Nick, you good?
Well, he's out first. Oh, no, you're in?
Nick, your camera's
Yeah, I'm
off.
here. Yeah, I'm looking at the document.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. The Celtics, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. And then a close game against Orlando. Jason Tatum and Hayward led the way. Basically, yeah, you couldn't ask for more. Kemba's been playing well. The bench has been playing well. 4-0, ready to go. Maybe it's a better first-round matchup if they play the Sixers now without Ben Simmons. Definitely looking like a second-round team. And if they play Toronto, who they already beat, there's some confidence there. So it couldn't have been a better week for the Celtics. They might have had the best week of any team in the bubble.
I want to say a quick point to the Raptors-Celtics game. Of course, we're all very optimistic after that game. And I was probably even more optimistic when I look at the box score and I see how Gordon Hayward went 9-9-2, 9 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Mm-hmm. And especially because by the time we play the Raptors, I assume he won't be with us because he's going to be outside of the bubble for family reasons. And because when the Celtics weren't doing really well, Gordon Hayward was doing well.
Yeah.
And he was shooting really efficiently. He's kind of always been our go-to free throw shooter. And that was proving to be pretty important, but showing that we were able to do it this week, not without him because he was obviously there, but he wasn't the focal point. He was he was kind of a passenger along the ride, and I think that was really important. And I'm not sure whether that was intentional by Brad to start phasing him out of the offense a little bit more. And if it was,
in that
I give him a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, because he played he played super well against Orlando with 31 points. So, it's not like he's not going to contribute. But maybe Brad made the intentional decision, thinking that Toronto could be our second-round opponent, that he should look for ways like that Gordon's not going to be there and run the offense through the other guys mostly. I think we have plenty of offense, as like to your point, against any team, even without Hayward. I mean, we'll miss his scoring, but Jalen, Jason, and Kemba can score 20 each tonight. So, I don't think it's a huge concern.
Mm-hmm. And especially at the beginning of the bubble, I would say, like Chandler said, Hayward was playing super, super well. And that's when I was really worried, because I'm like, oh, of course, Gordon Hayward's starting to get into his zone, but then it's just going to be irrelevant once he ends up leaving to, for those family reasons like Chandler talked about before. But, that Raptors game was definitely proof that we can play without him, like Chandler said. And another glimmer of hope that I think is kind of Kemba making his comeback. He said that game against the Grizzlies was the best that he's felt in the bubble so far, because that knee injury, like we know, has been nagging him. And he's been, pretty open about that, just saying that, it's been getting to him and he's still trying to deal with it and stuff. But, that sign of him saying that that's the best he's felt so far in the bubble is like, it's a glimmer of hope that maybe we can be getting back to that Kemba that we knew like in the middle of the regular season, along with Tatum and Jaylen Brown, who's been playing super, super well as of late. So it's looking good for the Celtics after a pretty bad start to the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
And especially off the bench. I don't know all of their names, but most of our guys off the bench have been playing really well too. Wanamaker's been playing well.
Wanamaker's surprisingly been playing well. Williams has been playing good. Robert Williams. Grant Williams.
Cantor's been playing good.
He's fine.
Tice has been playing good.
Well, he's a starting center, but yeah.
No, I know. But they're not as relevant as the other guys on the team.
Yeah. All right. Celtics, let's go.
Yeah, it's looking good. All right, and then we have the Toronto Raptors at the number 2 seed, getting the dub versus the Magic, then losing to the Celtics, and then getting 2 back-to-back wins against the Grizzlies and then the Bucks. So Raptors staying consistent. They looked a little bit more human in this stretch of the bubble in the past week, but, still looking great as ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't really know what to say. They're just kind of playing at their level. Yeah,
Siakam's been playing well. Lowry's been playing pretty good too.
I want to highlight that game against the Bucks. So as we know, the Bucks didn't have Giannis that game. He was out for some I think he had an oral surgery.
Oral surgery, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick. That was you.
Yeah. Well done, Nick. The Raptors didn't have Fred VanVleet in that game. And I was looking at it, and when I saw that they won only by 8 points without Giannis playing, I was like, oh, that's kind of a bad thing for the Raptors. Then when I look a little bit more closely at the box score, you have Chris Boucher, 25 points in 29 minutes. Who,
and then Matt
I'm going to be
Thomas.
totally honest. Yeah, Matt Thomas, 37 minutes. First off, why is he getting 37 minutes?
Me and because they've already clinched 2, so basically everything they're doing at this point. Yeah, he was shooting the lights out in the first half. Me and Colin were watching the game.
I think I know a pretty good amount of basketball. I have no idea who Matt Thomas is.
Yeah,
I know
I think last season. No, he's a rookie, but he's already 26.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's just like a white guy shooter, basically.
Yeah.
But he's like a poor man's Duncan Robinson at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe like a Steve Novak. I don't know, but anyway.
Steve Novak was. He's a
Jason Capono.
Hey.
But anyway,
none of these people are. Nick knows none of
I
these
don't.
people are.
Okay, Nick. Well, why don't you get off the podcast then? We'll finish.
All right, bye guys.
I'm just kidding.
No.
Leave. Just leave.
What was I gonna say before? Oh yeah, I think that
this wasn't even important.
Damn. You're just like absolutely flaming me right now. You know what?
Right,
I'm just gonna mute my mic and sit here in silence. All right.
All right, guys. Let's move on to the Bucks.
Okay. So the Bucks. We saw Giannis with his. Are we actually doing this?
All right. Wait, let me make my point before we move on.
I know.
I think that game against the Bucks, the Raptors are kind of starting to make a statement as well, like how the Bucks have been kind of what happened to
I don't know.
Like the Bucks have kind of like been making a statement, kind of like resting all their players, like they're like, oh, we don't really care about these bubble games, blah blah blah. And then the Raptors were kind of like, all right, you know, you don't have to start your starters, we don't have to start ours either, you know. Give these other guys some more minutes. So I think it was also kind of a statement game for the Raptors too, and they made a point still beating the Bucks with. I mean, they still had their top stars playing. Like Giannis just didn't play at all, but not as much as some would have expected. And on that note, let's move to the Bucks. Thumbs up from Stewart. So we have been approved to move on to the Bucks.
Make a buck noise.
No, what the hell does a buck sound like?
It's a male deer, so just kind of have to interpret it.
What do deers sound like?
I don't really know, like some kind of like rustling of the of the bushes. I don't know.
Okay, we're not making any bucks. All right,
there's something to say here. They're just resting all their players. Basically.
I know. Yeah. Since we
bench players looked good last night against the Wizards.
The only game we can really talk about is the Mavs game.
Yeah. Since we last met, they beat the Heat, then they lost to the Mavs, they lost to the Raptors, and then they beat the Wizards. So yeah, the Mavs game is kind of the only thing that we can.
Yeah, because Giannis and company were playing that game, and they lost to a team that hasn't been playing very well outside of Luka and Porzingis. So, you know, that was kind of concerning yet again. But you know, I don't want to put too much stock into it because they're playing the freaking Magic in the first round, so you know.
Yeah.
They won't have a problem in the first round, but I just think that they've been inconsistent. I don't know if they can even get past the Heat at this point. That's what I'm thinking.
You're wrong. So okay.
I wouldn't be
if the Heat play well, is what I'm saying. If the Heat get back into their zone and start playing like they were,
I mean, the Heat are good and everything. I think
the Bucks are underestimating their competition. Is what I'm saying.
The Heat are good, but we always talk about the Celtics last season was kind of a failure, but like they weren't terrible or anything. The Bucks last season completely destroyed the Celtics in the second round. Like we got freaking wiped out in that series. It wasn't even close. And the Bucks team last year, this year is probably better than that year's team. Mm-hmm. So like even though they're not looking that great, I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they're going to look better in the postseason. And, it just seemed – I was talking about how the Heat could have a chance to upset them earlier, but, like, I'm talking about, the difference between could and will. I really don't think that they're going to be able to just stop Giannis. I know they have the right defenders and everything, but, like, there's just a certain level here where he's just going to be able to just push by and score. Like, he hasn't really had any bad games in the bubble. Even if the Bucks as a team haven't looked great, he's the most important piece. And I just think that it's just so hard for me to see them losing to that team when you look at the talent between the two rosters. It's just hard. Even though they have looked inconsistent, I just think they're just so much more talented than most of the teams in the East or all the teams in the East at this point. They have looked inconsistent, but I'm still very high on them. And I still think they're going to come out of the East right now.
There's a huge difference between especially in the bubble. This applies to any season, but especially in the bubble, there's a huge difference between regular season basketball and postseason basketball. You look at the example that I really like to use is the Cavs. I think it was 2018 when they were the 4 seed going into the playoffs. And they, even as the 4 seed, there was a lot of talk at the beginning of the playoffs, like, oh, they're not going to come out this year. We're going to finally have a team that's not the Cavs and not LeBron coming out of the East. And then that was stupid to say because in the back of our minds, we all knew that LeBron was still going to figure out how to win. And in the East right now, Giannis is the LeBron of the East right now. He doesn't have the 7 finals in a row, but in terms of pure dominance, that's what he is. There's nobody like that.
And their team around him is pretty damn good too.
Exactly. It's not
better
like their second option is eternally battling with injuries, Kevin Love, and then the third option is J.R. Smith. You have Chris Middleton, you have Brook Lopez, you have Eric Bledsoe, and then you have just a bunch of really solid role players around them.
He's been playing great, actually.
He's a really good rebounding guard, and he had 17 points in the loss against the Raptors?
I think so. Somewhere around there, yeah.
Something
Almost
like that.
20.
Tanakis.
He's got game. Yep. Yeah, Nick Antonakis, the starting
just
small forward for
He's
the
just Nick
Bucks.
Tanakis.
Let's go.
Yep. Giannis really,
I mean,
Pat
all
Connaughton's really channeling his Nick.
So you're really just gonna betray your Greek brother?
Yeah, that's rude.
No, but I just don't think. All I'm saying is that if the Heat play really, really well, and the Bucks start going on one of their bad streaks like they have throughout the bubble, I just think that they're having a little bit of a stalling problem. Like, they're just not being able to pick up the pace because of this time off. Like, they just haven't really reached that regular season consistency and form like they were, in the regular season before. So that's all. I'm not saying that they're going to come out here and lose to the Heat and then be done. I'm still favoring the Bucks in that series. All I'm saying is if the Bucks don't turn it around. Right? What'd you say?
If they play the Celtics, all we gotta do is throw Taco out there and we got it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. That's all we have to do, and then we won the series 4 games.
Let's go.
All right.
We just need Paul Pierce again to say, "Oh, the Bucks are done. The series is over." That was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah, that was bad. But seriously, all I'm saying is if the Bucks don't return to that consistency form, if they can't pick it up, then they're gonna have a problem when it comes to the playoffs against the Heat. They're gonna have no problem against the Wizards, obviously, but
Magic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Magic. Sorry, Wizards make the playoffs in my dreams, but
yep.
If they played the Wizards, it'd be a 2-game series sweep. They'd win by 48 in each game, and then they'd have to forfeit the match. They have to forfeit the series.
Dang. All right. On that note, are we good to move? To the West now?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, Kings, who have officially been eliminated now since we last met. They beat.
This team is literally just De'Aaron Fox.
Why did I write win versus Kings? I don't know. I don't know who they beat there, but then they lost to the Nets, they lost to the Rockets, and they beat the Pelicans. So
they did beat themselves in the inter-squad scrimmage, according to Nick, though. So that's good, for team morale.
Yeah.
Oh wait, that's supposed to happen.
It's like preseason.
Fox is the only one doing anything. This team is just bad. I mean, I kind of feel bad. They basically have. Last season, they built a lot of momentum. I was a big fan. I was hoping they'd make the 8th seed last season over the Clippers. They didn't, but it was really fun to see them the Kings finally have a competitive team. And now they're slightly worse than that team. And now they're just kind of going in whatever direction, mediocre team below the 8th seed. The Kings have not made the playoffs since 2006. I mean, it's really getting bad in Sacramento right now. I'm surprised this franchise hasn't relocated. You're talking about a bigger picture, but and Fox, why would he even want to stay there? I think his contract's up in 2 years. What's the point anymore? No offense, but why didn't he go to he'd probably want to go to the Lakers or something. I don't know. I love Fox, but this Kings just they need something to go for. They need to win a draft lottery.
I know. Well, they did, and then they didn't draft. Who didn't they draft? Was that Luka?
No, they won. They had the second. What? They drafted Marvin Bagley instead of Trae Young or Luka. And also,
my God,
Nick, they have even worse mistakes. They have arguably worse mistakes. They drafted Thomas Robinson over Dame. Yeah, you know who Thomas Robinson is, bro.
Oh,
who else did they pick? They picked in the draft.
Jimmer. They picked Jimmer over Klay Thompson.
They picked Jimmer over Klay Thompson, Jimmy Butler, and Kawhi.
Well, Klay Thompson was literally the next pick, so that was really bad.
And Kawhi was 15.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Yeah, it's bad. It's bad in Sacramento.
It's really bad, Nick.
The only good
get them the hell out of there.
Really
was DeMarcus. That was the only one that was worth anything. 2011 they picked.
And I really like Fox too. He's been playing really well in the bubble.
It's giving me a lot of Kemba Walker with the Hornets vibes.
Yeah.
They're just never going to surround him with anything.
They picked Tyreek Evans. I mean, he was good.
He was the rookie of the year.
But 3 picks later was Steph Curry. And also
you can't really blame them for that one, though, because Tyreek Evans was incredible as a rookie.
And as a college player. But, yeah, that's fair. But, I mean, could have taken DeMar. He would have been better, too. But, well, Rip Kings.
Yeah, rest in peace. All right, and then we have the Pelicans, who have disappointed us greatly.
Especially me, considering I picked them.
Okay. The Kings beat the Pelicans in their first game since we met, because Pelicans lost to the Kings, then they beat the Wizards, then they lost to the Spurs, and they lost against the Kings. The guys with the easiest schedule can't even make the playoffs. It's disappointing.
I mean, they suck. I'm sorry, but I like Zion as a player. Like, I love him. Like, I was talking about how great he was in one of our other podcasts, like, before the bubble. And, like, he's still playing pretty well offensively, but defensively, he's just lost. In the Spurs game, he was getting freaking cooked by Jakob Poeltl. Like, what's going on right now? Like, their defense is pretty ass. I don't know what happened to Ingram. He's disappeared. Lonzo is just completely terrible on offense after
what the hell happened to
him? He rejuvenated his game this season. I was finally like, all right, Lonzo's on the right track. He's going to be like a really good, like, maybe never an all-star, but he's going to give you
like a top 15 point guard.
Yeah, like a top 10 even point guard, like 10th. You know, he was scoring like 15 a game, playing excellent defense and being a great facilitator. He was playing kind of like a Rondo. But he's averaging like 6 points a game. His shot is like terrible. He's looking like ass. Like, I mean, it's just like
head, bro.
JJ Redick has actually been playing really well, but like, I mean, it's just like whatever. Like, they need to do something. Like, they're gonna look to next season. They're gonna build with this core. Ingram is a free agent, so they got to keep him. Maybe they won't. I don't know, dude. What even happened? I picked them to win the playoffs. I was like, this team's got momentum. They got an easy schedule. They're going to make it. They're going to win the play-in game, and they just look terrible. They look
it's disappointing because Redick, I don't think we give him enough credit. Redick has been playing super well in the bubble.
Yeah, right.
Like, he's the perfect guy.
He's the perfect guy to have as like a veteran who's just going to go off while the rest of the young team kind of, works their way up. But literally no one else is doing anything. So it's just like it's all in vain.
I'm really excited to watch them too.
He's made the playoffs in every season of his career, and now he's missing them.
Yep.
Dang.
And it's all because
they rested Zion.
Game winner against the Jazz.
Against Utah.
Stupid ass.
It's your fault.
Oh yeah, they gave it to Ingram, right?
Yep.
It was a good look, and it was a good shot, but it didn't go down. That kind of just set the
JJ
Ingram's going to lose his job for that one.
It set the tone for the for the bubble experience.
Ingram to the Sacramento Kings.
I mean,
1 year, $10,000.
That would be really good.
$10,000.
$10,000.
Wow. I mean, dang. Times are bad in Sacramento and for Brandon Ingram, apparently.
Yeah.
Times are bad for Ingram if that happens.
That's what, like $500,000 under the league minimum? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You make more by playing in the G League. You get $100,000 a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah. 10,000.
All right, and then we go to the Suns, who have been rolling as of late. They beat the Pacers, they beat the Heat.
But
yeah.
Dude, they're on fire.
Boom. Booker they beat the Thunder and the Sixers.
Booker is in contention for freaking bubble MVP. It's not like they're playing these cupcake teams either. And they're also like, okay, I was looking at the box score, right? I was at the mall, but the Thunder were up. Oh, there's a fucking spider in here. All right, but it's not in here. It's outside. I'm opening the window. Hold on.
Okay.
I have to get to the.
I'll take over. No. Devin Booker has been lights out in the bubble. That game winner over Paul George was ridiculous. Paul George, and like Stuart said, they're not doing it against a really easy schedule. Like, they have beaten. Let's see. I don't have the full list. You have it.
They beat the Pacers, then they beat the Heat, then they beat the Thunder, then they beat the Sixers.
So that is the 5th team in the East, the 4th team in the East, the 4th team in the West, and the 6th team in the East. That's really good. And then the other games, they beat the Clippers, who are the 2nd best team in the West. According to some people, they're the best team in the West. The Mavs, who they've been a little bit rough, but the way that their schedule looks, I'm just seeing this right now. It's lent them. It's been really good for them because it started with the literal easiest team in basketball, the Wizards, who were terrible. Then they went to the Mavs, who were in a slump. But I mean, anytime you can beat Luka and Porzingis, that's going to give you a good run of momentum. And then the Clippers game happened. Then they beat the Clippers.
Booker.
And
that was good.
I took over. You go back to it. Go back to what you're saying.
Yeah, like you're just saying they beat good teams. Yeah, I was just going to say, they were down 14 in the first quarter. I'm like, here's the end of the streak, 30-16. I checked back like an hour later. They're up by like 20. Like, they just go on these runs that are like 24-0. Booker's just freaking shooting from the logo and making it swish. And also he's getting the line so much. But he's driving in, Suns look great, man. I mean, if I had to pick, I'd pick Portland, like prediction wise. But if I had a team that I want to make it, I don't know. I mean, I want to see Dame in the playoffs again, but like I also really think the Suns have worked so hard.
Yeah.
They made the if they win, if they make it, this is their first playoff appearance since 2010. So
wow.
Yeah.
As much as Draymond Green wants Devin Booker to leave, I really want Damian Lillard to get out of Portland because I don't think that I think they've tried really hard to facilitate around him. And
it's bad.
They've done a decent enough job, but it's just every effort that they do keeps getting thwarted, whether it be by injuries or by
poor free agent signings. I mean, Evan Turner for $80 million, or what was it?
Really
what
bad.
A terrible signing.
Yeah. So I really want him to get out of there, and I think that if they don't make the playoffs, then that might actually happen. So,
heading to Phoenix?
That would be
cool. That would be great.
Would be so good.
If they could keep Oubre and if they could keep Ayton.
You have Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre,
Ayton,
and who would be center?
Wow.
The center's probably be
whatever, doesn't matter. Center isn't even that important anymore.
Yeah.
Teams have done without it. But yeah, the Suns are looking really good. And then their only game left is against the Mavs. And I mean, spoiler alert, I think they're probably going to beat the Mavs. And then
Luka Magic.
That just puts the Spurs. The Spurs are going to need to win. Are the Spurs? So if the Suns win, the Spurs are out, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it all goes down to the Grizzlies, who are playing.
Lose.
Yeah, please lose. I predicted them to get the
Screw the Grizzlies, bro.
Hey, if anybody's saying screw the Grizzlies, it's me.
Yeah,
Grizzlies effed me over. If I had put the confidence in the Suns that I did in the Grizzlies, I would be far, far ahead of everyone else. But I didn't, so I can't say that.
I think the Suns obviously are probably the best underdog story in the bubble right now. But what I'm hoping for is that we get a Suns versus Blazers in the playoff like in a game in a playoff. Like that would be
on Damian Violence.
That and then the winner of that would earn it to be in the playoffs. Like honestly, like that. If the Suns can beat the Blazers 2 games in that play-in games, like that, then they deserve to make the playoffs and lose in 5 to the Lakers.
And then they go 16-0 in the playoffs. They go undefeated in the bubble, and they're the greatest team of all time.
Sunday.
I mean, if that happens,
All right, Portland.
That's legends.
Yep. Or actually, no. Next is the Spurs, right?
Spurs, yeah.
Yeah, next we got the Spurs. And since the last time we spoke, they lost to the Nuggets. They beat the Jazz. They beat the Pelicans and the Rockets. So they've been on a 3-game win streak as of late. They're still trying to make a push for the playoffs. The bottom of the
really
West
hope
is
that
really
they
tight.
don't.
It's not looking good for them. It's really not looking good for them.
They're really boring.
Derek White went out. He's out indefinitely. He went out in the Jazz game. And, I mean, they've won since then, I think. But Derek White has been really overperforming in the bubble, and he's just proved to be such an important part of their team. Like, I really thought when he went down against the Jazz, I thought they weren't going to be able to win.
Wait, Nick, this is until 12:30, right? Because we only have 25 minutes.
No, I know.
So we have to do these fast.
Yeah,
I know.
Spurs are – it's not looking great for them. I don't think they're going to be able to who are they playing with their last game? Let me see. They are playing the Jazz again, who they already beat. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't think that there's a situation where they can get into the playoff game, though.
Yeah, and I hope they don't. Yeah, because they're boring.
Yeah. I hope they don't.
Much as I like Pop, but
all right, next one.
All right, then we have the Grizzlies, who have just been terrible as of late, losing to the Jazz, then we're beating the Thunder, losing to the Raptors, and then losing to the Celtics.
They're 1-6 in the bubble. Get out.
I mean, Jaws looked pretty good, but the rest of the roster.
Yeah, Jaws look good, but that's all they have.
Jaren Jackson Jr. going down. I said it before.
Out.
It's so important for them.
And then Dylan Brooks has been pretty bad so far in the bubble.
ISOing Dylan Brooks.
That's like their whole
not
offense.
That good.
He's good, but he shouldn't be doing that so much.
I know.
But anyway, yeah, I don't think they're going to make the thing. I think they're going to lose.
They better not at this point. If it comes into a play-in game, that would be kind of disappointing. I'd rather see an entertaining play-in game, but, whatever.
Well, what time
then we have the Trailblazers who have been Then we have the Trailblazers who have been
on fire.
61 points.
Dame is just they woke a beast up in him. After missing those game-winning free throws.
Then he had 55 in another night, right? Against the Sixers. Didn't he have 55 something?
Earlier. He had 51 last night, and then he had 60. Not last night. He had 61 last night, 51 the previous night. So
so against the Sixers.
Yeah, against the Sixers. So that's 50.
He is a legend.
He's a
my
beast.
God.
I
And
want them to play. I
Carmelo's
want them.
popping off.
I kind
This
of hope
team
they play the
is-
Lakers, even though I want the Suns to go. The whole team's looking good, almost undefeated in the bubble. They did lose to the Clippers, and they also lost to us. They almost came back in that scary game. But
Damian Lillard
That
is
was
going
a
to be
scary
one of
game.
those players in like NBA history that it's like when we're going to be like 40, we're going to like tell our kids, we're going to be like, I don't know why people don't hype up Damian Lillard. But
yeah,
they
he's
should.
like one of the most. Yeah,
I feel like he could be like Dirk.
That's a
though.
perfect
I think
way to
he could
describe
get a
him.
chip maybe towards the end of his career, maybe. Kind of
I
like
hope
Dirk
he
did.
does.
He seems like the
I
Dirk
hope so.
version of a point guard. One of the best at his position, but maybe never the quite best, kind of like Dirk was with Tim Duncan or Kevin Garnett. But
Dirk
still
also had an
amazing
MVP, though.
and insane. Well, Dame probably should have. He has the resume, like,
Yeah.
that he could. He is the level of player that could have won one. It just didn't
Mhm.
work out at the right time. I mean, honestly,
And yes, Steph
I know
Curry.
they're not contributing to the bubble. And James Harden's been playing well, don't get me wrong. But if they were
Yeah.
putting the bubble in perspective with the All-NBA first team, I'd probably be considering voting Dame first team NBA over
Yeah.
Harden or over Luka,
Yeah.
over either of them. He's been so unbelievable in the bubble. It's just, there's nothing you can really say. I mean, there was a whole beef with Paul George that was kind of awkward, but,
Yeah. That was.
definitely.
They're trying
definitely
to clear the beef now. They're trying to clear the air now.
Yeah, apparently they cleared the air, so.
Oh, well, that's good.
Oh,
I mean,
about
I would
beef
say
in the
he's-
bubble. I have a quick thing. I want to say
yeah.
that I have a whole lot of respect for Kyle Lowry now. For
Yeah.
who was it? Somebody
Aaron
was,
Gordon.
it was Aaron Gordon, and then he
Yeah,
said,
he's ready to
he
fight.
said, quote 8:36. My room is 8:36.
He was ready to fight. Aaron Gordon's
I
a
have
big
so
dude.
much respect for Kyle Lowry now.
He's ready to
I
pull
did
up.
not like him.
He's
I
ready to
have
pull up.
so much respect for him. He is.
He was ready. He was ready to go. Dude, this big
Let's
butt.
go.
He's going to twerk all his
all
way
right,
all the way there.
Two things before we move on to the next team. I think that Lillard is definitely a contender for bubble MVP so far, just off his sole performance. Even though the rest of the team has been playing really well, he's just been, playing over the top, like all-star level. And then also, I just want to say, I was right.
Oh yeah,
Blazers
right, no,
gonna
I
make the
changed my pick
playoffs.
after the first game, Nick. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had it right since the start, dude.
all right.
I'm
That's
the
fair.
OG.
All right.
Okay,
Let's
all right,
go.
Nick. Let's see him get rubbed
You
out by the
also,
Lakers
didn't you
in the
also say
first
the
round.
Pelicans were going to get that play-in game, though?
I said they were.
Yes, I did.
So.
I said
Yeah,
it was
so-
going to be the
but don't take
play-in
too much
between the
credit.
Pelicans and the
The Blazers.
the
Yeah, so don't take
Blazers.
too much credit.
Who did you have the play-in game against? Chandler?
Probably.
I think I had the
Portland.
Grizzlies, and I don't know who else
No.
I had.
Ooh, the Pelicans, I think.
All right,
How
that's
crazy.
Let's move on. Come on.
Yeah.
we gotta go fast.
Yeah, right. Anyway, now we have the Mavericks. Again, I wrote loss to the Mavericks. This is
There's
stupid.
not much to
All right.
say.
Yeah, then they beat the Bucks, they beat the Jazz, and then
The
they
whole
lost to
team.
Blazers.
The whole
They're
team is just Luka and Porzingis. Last night, I was kind of hoping that the game would go to OT so that Dame could score more points, but then Tim
Yeah.
Hardaway Jr. tried to have the game-tying shot, and he just hit the freaking backboard. So, he didn't even come close. He had kind of an open shot, and not really, but I mean, I just think they're gonna get wiped out by the Clippers in the first round.
Yeah,
That's
there's just
what-
not much
let's
to
go.
say about them. Luka is really good. Porzingis is also really good. Nobody else is any good in that team.
Right
They
now,
have the wrong
they're
Curry.
just, right.
All right,
All
and
right.
then we have the Thunder,
Who
who
fall down to 6?
yeah. Oh wait, did they?
Are they
I
5
might
or
have
6?
this. I might have this in the wrong order. I'm sorry. They
Here, I'll check.
are 5. Sorry. So yes, the
Okay.
Jazz are next.
Okay, sorry,
Let
hold
me
on.
go back. All right. So then we have the Jazz, who are the number 6 seed, beat the
Yeah.
Grizzlies, and then they've lost 3 straight against the Spurs, the Nuggets, and the Mavs. They're just, it's
Those aren't good
expected.
losses.
After that beginning of the bubble, like where they looked pretty good against the Pelicans that game, even though they should have lost that.
Yep.
They've been pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically just, without that Bogdanovich really important wing, they're just kind of playing at the level they were during the regular season, but a little bit worse because they don't have that wing. I just think they're a first-round exit. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that if you had to pick the 4 teams that are really close, Denver, Houston, OKC, and the Jazz, they're the clear worst of those 4.
All right, and then now we move on to the Thunder. Nobody else has any points about that. Not really much to talk about with the Jazz, but the Thunder beating the Lakers, then losing to the Grizzlies, giving the Grizzlies their only win. That's kind of sad. And then beating the Wizards and then losing to the Suns.
They're a little bit worse than I thought they would be.
Yeah.
I know.
In-
I was
in
really
bubble.
hyping them up to be good.
Me too.
But
But now I'm
no.
starting to think in a hypothetical first round against the Rockets, I'm really starting to lean towards the Rockets.
Yeah.
The Rockets are also looking better than I thought
Yeah.
they were going to.
I mean, basically they're just playing kind of bad. Like they're playing at a lower level than they were accustomed to. Maybe more towards the level that people were expecting before the season. Maybe it's because they have a lot of pieces on their roster, so maybe the chemistry isn't all the way there. I haven't really watched a ton of them. I mean, I've looked at the highlights and stuff, but Chris Paul, he's been like he's had some good and some bad games. Yeah, like he missed a free throw against the Nuggets to try to win. I honestly think they're probably
that was bad. He missed 2 free throws in a row.
Yeah, that was really bad. I think they're also probably a first round exit, even though I did have them higher up earlier. But we'll see. Maybe they could regroup before the postseason.
Yeah, I mean they have
a higher. I think they have a higher ceiling than the Jazz.
Oh yeah, I would say a pretty good amount.
Yeah. They have the Clippers in their last game, so if they can, they have the Nuggets and the Clippers. So those are going to be two
those are big
really
games,
important games.
All right, 4 seed.
All right, yeah, and then we have the Rockets at number 4.
Yeah.
Beating the Lakers, beating the Kings, and then losing to the Spurs. You want to apologize? What?
I think they're resting. I think they're resting their roster. I don't think that they're going to play Harden again.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But I really did not expect small ball to be working like it is. But, I mean, it's working.
It is.
I didn't. I really – so I like small ball as a concept, but when I didn't think it could be that extreme when your tallest player in your entire roster is 6'7". Like, I know that he's tall.
I think Covington's a little taller. But, yeah.
He's listed as 6'7", whatever he actually
is. I think 6'9", but –
yeah.
Yeah, they're just not. They work. It works.
Working.
I mean, as long as they're knocking down shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the story of the bubble. It's been a very offensive driven game right now. Yeah. And if you can outshoot the other team, you're gonna win.
Live and die by 3, honestly. So
and Harden's really good at hitting 3.
Yep. Except
when
he's
not the one. He's not the one doing the catch and shooting, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually the catch and shoot guys, especially Jeff Green, Daniel House, who's looked pretty good, and PJ Tucker. And also, just real quick, Austin Rivers with a 41-point game. Not bad.
Oh, yeah.
Off the bench. Yeah, nice.
Most notable thing he's done since he hit a game winner against North Carolina in college.
He's been a good NBA player.
He's been all right. I think he's
been great in Houston.
Yeah, he has been very good in Houston. I think he needs to get away from his dad.
Yeah, that was true. Anyway, next team.
All right, yeah, and then we have the Nuggets, who beat the Spurs, lost to the Blazers, beat the Jazz, and then lost to Lakers. Just up and down. I was never really high on the Nuggets, but
yeah, they did have a tough schedule. Yeah, I mean, their over/under for wins is like 3.5, so Vegas was pretty low on them. Yeah, I mean, they're basically playing at a similar level as they were during the season. Michael Porter Jr.'s looked great. Jamal Murray's been okay. Really entertaining game against the Jazz this week. Also, back and forth. Jokic has looked good. I think they can get out of the first round. I don't think they're going to be playing Houston. I think they're going to be playing OKC or Utah, and I think they compete either of those teams pretty convincingly. I think they're definitely a second round team.
Yeah. Then they have probably Lakers, which we'll get to them
if they get to the conference finals. Yeah.
Yeah. Or I think they're probably going to be the Nuggets. Probably the 4 seed. I think the Rockets.
Are they going to fall under the Rockets?
Ooh. I think the Rockets are probably going to hop them.
Well, how many games do they apart right now?
1.5. Probably not.
1.5?
Yeah, probably not then.
Then probably not.
The Nuggets are probably going to lose both their next games, Raptors and Clippers. And then
we'll see who's playing. I mean, I don't know if Kawhi's going to be playing or anything.
Rockets have.
Let's say they win one of those games.
Then they're stuck in the 3.
The only way that works is if the Nuggets have to win. Dude, the only way that works is if the Rockets lose both games. I mean, win both games and the Nuggets lose both. That's the only way.
I think that's pretty possible. The Rockets have the 76ers and the Pacers, and the Nuggets have the Clippers and the Raptors.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to play Kawhi or anybody in that game.
Yeah, true.
I mean, think of in the Raptors, too. They don't have any reason to play anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Whatever.
All right, and then we have at the number 2 seed, we have the Clippers, who looks like they were bringing it back after struggling a little bit, beating the Mavs and then the Blazers, but then they lost to the Nets.
Yeah, that was a weird game.
That was a bad
game. That was a weird game.
But, yeah, I mean, there was the whole thing with the Blazers and all that, Paul George, the beef. I hope that, I think they're going to play Dallas. They're going to win that series, and then we're going to see them play likely Denver, but maybe Houston. I think, honestly, Houston might even rather play the Lakers than they'd play The Clippers. The matchup is a lot worse, so maybe they want to be the 4th seed. Yeah, I mean, Clippers. I think they're still my pick as of right now, but we'll see what happens when we do our playoff picks.
Things are not looking good in Tinseltown right now.
Yeah, Lakers.
Not go with the Clippers.
Yeah, both teams have kind of struggled.
Yeah, I say then we just move on to the Lakers, who lost 3 straight against the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Pacers, and then got a win against the Nuggets in their last game so far. But, I mean, they still have a couple more games, but one more game. But
the Nuggets won. I mean, it was a great performance by Kuzma at the end. LeBron had finally one of his best bubble games, 29-12, and only had 1 rebound. But then, they weren't even really playing. A lot of the Nuggets happened to be resting, or some of their players were hurt. So it was like they were playing the backups on the Nuggets, and they barely got away with the win. The Lakers have – Anthony Davis has looked pretty dang good, though he's kind of slowed down a little bit. Some of the bench guys have looked good, but LeBron still has not played up to par. In the Pacer game, he had 23 in the first half, and I'm like, oh, LeBron's – or maybe it was 18, but he was playing really well. In the second half, in the fourth quarter and all that, he just completely just stopped shooting the ball. He just shut down and let T.J. Warren, walk all over them, and they lost.
Why, though? Why?
I don't really know. I think maybe he just wants – my guess is maybe that he wants to play – in the games, like he doesn't want to just rest because they have the 1 seed locked up, but he also wants to – he doesn't want to, like, overexert himself in the games because it doesn't really matter. But because he's no –
I mean, it's not a great image right now for the Lakers, though. It's making people doubt him.
Yeah.
It's really interesting how, in my opinion, probably I would say LeBron might be the most professional basketball player, as in, like,
taking care of his body, practicing. Yeah.
And I mean, that
considering every move.
Least, exactly. Like that at least appears to be really important in the bubble. Like the players who prepared the most for the contingency plan of having the rest of the season are doing the best right now. And you would think that LeBron would be at the top of that list, but he isn't. And that's really interesting. And I think, that's giving me some doubts in my beginning prediction of the Lakers.
The top 3 teams have all had we all feel worse about them now than we did before. The Lakers, the Clippers, and the Bucks.
And
it's kind of sad.
Even the top 3 teams in the West being the Nuggets there.
Yeah, right. Probably Houston is the team I felt is like the team that I felt the best about out of the top 4.
Yeah,
or even the top 7.
The 2 actual contenders that I'm feeling good about right now, the Raptors and the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still probably pick the Bucks, but
I'm still picking the Bucks over them too. But in terms of performance, those are the only 2 that have actually impressed me.
All right,
we good to move on to our predictions
time.
Yeah,
let's go.
But also make sure to take into who's reading off the games.
I will.
All right, so great.
I'll write them down.
All right, but remember
that read them
any games, including the Pelicans, Wizards, and Kings, aren't happening apparently.
Yes.
They're not.
We should still predict them because we don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just do it just in case, and then if they don't happen, then we just won't include them.
Yeah. All right, sure.
Chandler, do you want to read off our records right now just to update the viewers?
Sure, I will. So I am currently in last place. Woo! With 42 and 31. Nick is in second place at 45 and 28. And Stuart is in first place with 48 and 25.
These standings are tight.
They're very tight. We're in a good position for the playoffs.
Yeah. These records will continue into
Nick,
the playoffs.
If I win, you have to do a punishment.
Wow, that's bold.
Cinnamon challenge.
We'll both do a punishment.
But once playoff starts, we will continue the record format, but we'll also incorporate the points format. If you don't already know what that is, make sure to go follow us at nosebleeds__podcast. We have a video updating you on the whole point system and the record system.
Nick, you have to give Giannis oral surgery.
That was my plug for the Instagram. Let's go.
You have to give Giannis, if you lose, you have to give Giannis oral surgery.
All right.
All right, move on.
Yep.
All right.
Today's games. We got Pacers, Rockets.
I will pick the Pacers because the Rockets are not going to be playing Harden.
I know.
Pacers.
I'm going to pick the Pacers too. All right. Raptors, Sixers. Raptors.
Yeah, Toronto. Fucking Sixers suck.
Heat, Thunder.
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I will pick the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Nick, who are you going to pick?
Oh, man, that's kind of tough, though. I'm picking the Thunder. This is a tough one for me, honestly.
Who are you picking, Nick?
I know. Let me go first.
Oh, man, the Thunder need
I'm going to go – I'm I'm gonna go Thunder.
Thank you, because I'm going Heat.
Dang, Chandler.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah,
Says
'cause I
the
need to make up
last
some
place
games.
guy.
I need to
okay.
make up
All
games.
right, come on.
All right. Clippers, Nuggets.
Clippers.
I don't know if they're gonna even be playing.
I'm gonna
anybody.
go
I'm
Nuggets.
checking now.
I'm gonna go Nuggets.
checking right
Actually, yeah.
now.
If it says, yeah. See, we kind of got bodied a couple games by big players not playing.
All right, so on the injury report right now, it only says Shamet, Harrell, and Beverly are out, not Kawhi. And I don't know, maybe the Nuggets have players out too. I'm picking
the Clippers still.
Me too. I'll pick the Clippers.
I'm gonna go Nuggets.
I could end up being very wrong here because I'm picking
Yeah,
the Thunder.
we both could be wrong. If
Well, but I could be wrong
play.
twice because I. Yeah.
All right. Wizards, Celtics.
Celtics.
I will pick the Celtics if they play. Yeah.
Kings,
Celtics
Lakers.
I will pick the Lakers even though they're
Lakers,
not
yeah.
that good.
I'm gonna
right
go
now.
Lakers too. Bucks, Grizzlies.
I will pick
I'm gonna pick
Bucks.
the Grizzlies. I'm
gonna go the Bucks because I really, really, really want the Grizzlies to lose. So I'm gonna put that energy there. I'm gonna go Bucks.
Oh man, if the Grizzlies lose this game trying to get the play-in game and they lose to like the Bucks backups.
I just don't think that the Bucks are gonna be playing anybody. So
yeah, but they can still win.
They
The Grizzlies are that bad. But the Grizzlies are that
Big
bad.
Pat
though.
gonna show up today, boys.
He is. He's gonna score 28 points. Watch.
God.
All right. Mavericks, Suns.
I'll pick the Phoenix Suns to get the dub here.
Let's go.
The Vegas odds of them have increased so much. Now they're like 5.5 point favorites against the Mavericks.
Wait, so
Damn.
if the Grizzlies actually win, does that mean the Suns are out of the playoffs?
No, I don't think so. I think
Mm,
they have the same record
Yeah.
right now. They're both 33 and 39.
It's the Grizzlies' last game, and so it's also the Suns.
So what if they're the same record then? Then what?
I'm gonna move to the Bucks I'm staying with the Grizzlies. I want the Bucks to win that game because I want the Suns to make the playoffs. But I think the Grizzlies will win.
Stick with the logic.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. All right. Jazz, Spurs.
I say Spurs.
I will pick the Jazz.
I'm gonna go Spurs. I'm gonna go Spurs. Blazers, Nets. I'm going Blazers.
I will pick Portland.
Blazers. Yeah.
They need to win this game, so there's no way they shouldn't.
Pelicans, Magic. I'm gonna go Magic.
Yeah, I'll pick the Magic too.
I'll also get the Magic. Yeah, I can't.
Fuck the Pelicans, bro.
Seriously.
All right, Nuggets, Raptors.
I'm gonna pick the Nuggets.
I'm gonna go Nuggets.
The Raptors will be resting.
I think Raptors will be resting.
Yeah.
I think they're already
Heat,
kind of resting.
Pacers.
Oh, another game. That's tough. They might play this game and then play in the playoffs like a week later. I will pick the Miami Heat. I'll pick the Heat.
They played. They're playing today too, right? No,
they played yesterday.
El Heat.
I'm gonna go Heat too.
Heat.
You're both going Heat?
Yeah. You going Pacers?
I'm gonna go Pacers.
Heat.
Let's go!
Bubble TJ Warren. Come on.
12
Dude,
points,
this is
5
getting
rebounds.
intense because we really want to win the predictions now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still up though. I have a security blanket. I don't know how Chandler's gonna. I don't think Chandler can catch me, but
I can catch you guys in the playoffs, but not.
Yeah. He could get close now.
All right.
Thunder,
Clippers. I can
Clippers.
catch you, Nick.
Thunder, Clippers. I will pick the Thunder because the Clippers will almost certainly be resting at this point. I don't know why they would.
Kawhi just scores 45 points.
That'd be almost his career high.
Yeah.
Then our last game, Sixers, Rockets. Going Rockets.
I'm going Sixers.
Jesus. I think
I'm going Rockets.
I'll pick the Sixers.
Going Rockets.
I don't think the Rockets will play anybody in this game.
I don't think so either. That's why I picked the Sixers.
Yeah, but the Sixers are ass, so there's that. All right. That's the episode. We'll be back.
I don't know.
We will be back on Saturday with our next episode. We're going to be doing a playoff predictions episode. By then, we'll have all the seeds organized, and we'll be able to be predicting play-in games if they're going to happen, which they most likely will for the 8th seed in the West.
It's guaranteed.
They have to.
So we'll give you our predictions for that there, and we'll give you some predictions for the playoff series that will be decided by then. So
wait, we're doing this
thank
Friday?
you so much for what?
When are we doing this?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
Tune in
night.
Saturday.
All right, we'll talk about it soon.
Yeah, we can figure out a time, but it will be up Saturday night for everybody wondering. So tune in then, and then tune in next week for our regular basketball episode back on Wednesday. And if you like hockey, tune into our hockey episode on Monday. If you haven't already, make sure subscribe to ACMi Sports here on YouTube. Leave a like on this video. And also, if you're on Apple Podcasts right now, if you're not already, make sure to go on Apple Podcasts, look up the Nosebleeds podcast, and then give us a subscribe and give us a rating on there too. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts right now, make sure to go subscribe to ACMi Sports on YouTube, and you can check out all the Nosebleeds podcast episodes that we've done so far. There's a playlist that you can check out. We've done plenty of episodes so far, so there will be plenty of content there for you to enjoy. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. For my ACMi Sports, my name is Nick Antonakis, and we'll see you in the next episode.